Welcome to The Bright Show. I'm your host, Capital HP. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, then I will ask you to, if you don't mind, just hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button. Therefore, you can get more of this dope content that we have. The Bright Show is a very diverse cast. You know, we got a lot of dope people, different people with different backgrounds that come and share a dialogue on the show. So you definitely want to be subscribed so you can tune into that. If you're not new to this channel, meaning that you've been following this content, then you'll know that this is something different. Normally I interview people, but today I'm not doing that. Today I'm more so doing like a course, like a one-on-one type of thing. And I'm gonna talk about something that's pretty interesting. I'm gonna talk about how to deal with breakups, or how to let go, advice for men dealing with breakups. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure you get a pen and a pad. And, you know, it's gonna be a lot of good information that I can give you. The reason why I want to do this is because I feel like society tends to undermine the emotions of men. They act like we're not supposed to have emotions. Like whenever a man going through a breakup, they just tell him, oh, you just need to get over it. Just move on, just let go. You're a man, you'll be good. And I just want people to understand it's not always that simple. No, we're human too. We have emotions too. You understand what I'm saying? So make sure you tap in, go get you a pen, go get you a pad, make sure you're comfortable. We about to get it in, this information. So the purpose of this course, again, there's no instruction manual on how to deal with a breakup, on how to move on. But there is some things that you can do. You know, oftentimes I've seen situations where guys want to move on, they try to move on, but they really don't know. So me having the experience that I had, like with breakups, being dumped a few times, there are some tools and some tips that I came up with that helped me get through that. So if you're interested, you know, make sure you have a pen and a pad. I'm going to share it with you, and hopefully it'll get you through it. Alrighty, so now I'm going to ask a question. Why is it so hard to let go? Well, in order for you to know that, you have to understand how the brain works. The brain doesn't like change. That's why it's hard to let go. In fact, both science and religion agrees to the brain doesn't like change. For example, in science, they tell us we are creatures of habits, meaning that most humans are routine people. We don't like change. We don't like people to switch up on us. We like consistency. The brain doesn't like change. And in religion, they teach you when God wants you to grow, he makes you what? Uncomfortable. So what does that mean? What comes with growth? Change. What comes with change? It makes people uncomfortable. People don't like change. You know what I'm saying? So, and you also have to know that the brain is naturally clingy, meaning that the brain wants to hold on to what's familiar. You know what I mean? Again, it doesn't like change, so it wants to hold on to what's familiar. And this is why when some people say they almost passed away, they see their whole life flash before their eyes. Really, they're just the brain giving you something to hold on to. You know what I mean? And this is also why a lot of people have trouble sleeping, but that's another conversation. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why letting go is hard. It's because the brain doesn't like change. We are creatures of habits. So now that you know that we are creatures of habits, the brain doesn't like change, let's talk about your habits. Most of your habits, if not all of your habits, is invested into this woman. You have a habit of seeing her every day. You have a habit of her answering the phone every time you call her. You have a habit of her texting back every time you text. You have a habit of making love to her every time, or she letting you make love to her when you want to. You have a habit of having all this access to this woman, and then one day she just, boom, she walk out of your life. That sends a shock to your brain because why? It doesn't like change. All it knows is this woman. All your habits are associated with this woman. So that's why letting go is hard. So if you're a man that's tuning into this channel and you having a hard time letting go because a woman left you, I just want you to know that what you are experiencing is completely normal. Letting go is hard. That's because the brain don't like change. So now that you know that, that's gonna bring us to the next part of this course, is how to train your brain to let go. All right, so now that you know that the brain don't like change and we're creatures of habits, and this is why it's hard to let go, that the brain is naturally clingy. Now we want to talk about how do you train your brain to let go. Make sure you tap in, make sure you got that pen, make sure you got your paper, you know what I'm talking about? Because it's about to get real. Okay, so how do you train your brain to let go? In order for you to be able to do that, you have to know that you are not your brain, just like you're not your body. Most people know that they are not their body. For example, when you call into work, you don't call off and say, hey, my body ain't coming in today. You say, no, I am not coming in today. Or like if it's a lot of hard work on you or something, you don't be like, oh man, you'll say that's too much wear and tear on my body. Like, you know that your body is not your body. You're not your body, I mean. So since you know you are not your body, you also have to know that you are not your brain. Why is this important? Well, you have to look at your brain like an airplane. Your brain is like an airplane and you are the pilot sitting in the seat of your brain. What does a pilot do to an airplane before it takes off? You got to punch in a bunch of codes, give it information, give it direction. That's exactly what the pilot does. That's what you do on a day-to-day basis. When you're laying down, you plan your whole day out, how you get up, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna wear. You giving your brain information. Your brain is like an airplane. You are the pilot sitting at the seat of the pilot, and your heart is the engine that fuels the brain. This is why in religion, when they pray over you, they have you hold your hand like this, and they put their hand on your head. That's them speaking to the pilot. You understand what I'm saying? So you've given your brain all this information, all these directions on how to fly towards this woman. You understand what I'm saying? So this is also why when she's rejecting you and she's not answering your calls, you like your head, you start feeling like your mind is all over the place. That's because your plane is starting to tilt. It's so used to flying towards this woman. It's so used to having directions towards this woman. And this is also why your heart aches, because your heart is the engine to the plane. It is causing discomfort to the heart. And this is why a lot of old heads, they would say, you can't tell nobody how to fly their plane if yours crooked. Or you know that old song, straighten up and fly, right? That's them talking. They know that the brain is like a plane. So what you have to do now, you have to figure out a way to land your plane before it crashes. And we're gonna talk about that, crashing out. So that's gonna bring us to the next station. So in order to train your brain to let go, you have to know that you are not your brain. And that's gonna be more effective later on this course, because I'm gonna tell you why that's important. All right, so now that you know that the brain don't like change, and this is why it's hard to let go, you also know now that in order to train your brain to let go, you have to realize that you're not your brain, meaning that you are in control of it, you're the airplane. So now that we're talking about that, and like I stated, you're creatures of habits, right? So let's talk about habits. Let's bring us to this next topic. It's called the high that the woman gives you. So what do I mean by that? A woman gives you a high that no drug can give you. Like everything about her makes you rise. If you think about it, when she touches you, her voice, it makes your energy rises, your blood pressure, your emotions, your penis, your hair on your arms. You know what I'm talking about? Like she make everything rise, your confidence, your ego. All these things she make rise, she gives you a high. So when she leaves, this is what causes you to have what they call withdrawals. You want that high back. And sometimes depending on like how like you never know how addicted you are to something until you don't have it no more. So that's why you hear her say, hey, you didn't appreciate me while I was there. You appreciated her, but you just didn't know how much you did. It's like now you don't have her no more. You don't have that high no more, and this is what's causing you to have withdrawals. Withdrawals would, like later on, leading to you crashing out. So we're gonna talk about crashing out. That's gonna bring us to the next topic. So now that you know, we talked about the high that the woman gives you, and then when you don't have it no more, you start going through withdrawals. These withdrawals sometimes can lead to a man crashing out. So what does that mean, crashing out? There's two ways you can crash out. You can crash out externally, or you can crash out internally. Let's talk about crashing out externally first. It's like usually levels that leads up to crashing out externally. Sometimes it's right away, or sometimes it's a build-up. Here's the first step of you crashing out externally. Disbelief. You don't believe that she's really done with you. You be like, oh, whatever, you've been saying that, whatever. Anyway, I'll see you at home tonight. You don't think she's serious this time, you know what I mean? But you're in disbelief. So you like, man, anyway. So now you're at home and a day or so that went by and you ain't seen her. So you like, wait a minute. Like, are you serious? So you go from a disbelief stage to like a concerned worrying stage. Like, hey, what's going on? Why you ain't answering the phone? Come home. And she's like, hey, I told you I'm done. He's like, nah, come on now, we're not doing that. Like, come on now, we're not doing that. We just, come on home, we can talk about it. She's like, no, I don't want to talk. So she don't believe that. It goes from the worrying stage. First you started off disbelief. You didn't believe it was over. Then you started worrying, like, wait a minute, you concerned. Now it brings you to the next stage, begging. You're like, hey, look, listen, man, because you realize now she's not playing. She like dead ass this time. You're like, look, come on, I'ma change. Like, hey, look, Wing, this ain't for us. Like, what I need to do? Let's go get married, or let's try to work on our marriage. Let's fix our family, or let's do this, let's do that. And she's like, nah, I'm not trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? She's done with you. And now you steady begging, like, come on now, please. Now you wanna do everything right now. You wanna do all these things that she complained about. You wanna do it now. And then when that don't work, it leads you to the next stage of crashing out. So first you was going through the disbelief, you didn't believe her. Then when you saw that she was serious, she's serious about leaving you this time, you starting to worry, you concerned, like, hey, come on now, just come home. I want you to be safe. We need to be here. When that don't work, then you went to the begging stage where you begging, like, hey, please, I'll do this, I'll make things right. Let's come home, let's try this, yada, yada, yada. When then that don't work, that brings you to the next stage of crashing out. And that is when begging can switch to anger, switch to aggression. Because now you feel like it's an attack on your ego, on your masculinity. You like, hey, man, don't play with me. Like, come on now, you know this ain't for us. Now your emotions starting to rise a little bit because you steady getting rejected. So it's making you mad, it's making you angry now. You like, man, you got me fucked up. Like, you need to come home. Like, nah, come on now. No, now you starting to turn up. And then when that don't work, that brings you to the next level of crashing out. All right, so now you done went through the disbelief stage. You didn't believe her. Then you start to believe that she's over. She's really done with you now. They brought you to the concern stage. You like, hey, come, I'm just concerned about you. Hey, come home. That ain't work. Then it brought you to the begging stage where you begging like, please, let's make this right. That ain't work. Then it switch you to the aggression stage where you like, hey man, this ain't us. Hey, stop playing, answer the phone. That ain't work. Now you're going to a whole nother level of crashing out. You actually making threats and you actually start to trying to find where she is. Cause she ain't answering the phone, she ain't replying back to you. You start showing up at her job, you start calling her 20, 30 times. Like, this is all a build up, you know what I'm saying, to crashing out. And you steady, hey, you know I'm gonna be outside, I'm gonna be at your job. And then sometimes I've seen cases to where guys do that and then a woman call the police on them. Then she's, police show up, you at a house or you at the job and they say, sir, we need you to leave. And then you get to, nah, man, this is my woman. I'm talking to my woman. Now all of a sudden you get into a scuffle with the police. So that don't work. Now you like, damn, you gonna call the police on me? You gonna really do me like this? Yeah, buddy, she's really done. She's trying to show you that she done. Then when that don't work, it leads you to the next stage. And I call this one the red. You understand what I'm saying? So now, all the stuff you've been doing, you ain't believe her at first. You start being concerned. You start begging. You start getting angry. You start being more aggressive, showing up. And when none of this is working, you're not scared of the police, that ain't work either. Sometimes I've seen guys where now you really mad. You want to like inconvenience her. I've seen guys, they bust out her car windows knowing that's the only transportation to work, kick a door in, end up getting her put out, going up to a job. Like, this is another level of crashing out, you understand what I'm saying? And this is also a dangerous phase because it can lead you to the final stage of crashing out. And that's when damaging her property, when that don't even work, now you want to think about doing harm to her. So if you are at a point to where you having trouble letting go, your spirit brought you here, we're gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We don't wanna get you to that level to where you make a decision that lands you in jail for the rest of your life or half of your life or most of your life. It ain't really worth it. You understand what I'm saying? So make sure you tap in. So now you know the levels of crashing out externally. We're gonna talk about crashing out internally. So, you know about crashing out externally, guys, be turning up, get dangerous. You understand what I'm saying? So now we're gonna talk about crashing out internally. That just simply just losing focus. Like, when you realize this woman don't want to be with you no more, your brain, again, doesn't like change. It's so used to focusing on her, you don't give it nothing new to focus on. It begins to shut down. You begin to shut down. You get depressed, you get sick, you at home, you ain't doing nothing. Or another way you can crash out internally is either take yourself out, you know what I'm saying? Or my brother, for example, man, he rest in peace. He crashed out internally when it came to love. A woman he was really in love with broke his heart. She did some foul shit. She fucked one of our cousins. She did a lot of things and really hurt him. And I never seen my brother fall in love again after that, up until he passed away. So that's another way to crash out internally. You could never want to fall in love again. You understand what I'm saying? And that's not good because there's somebody out here for everybody. So you can't let this one situation just make you say, hey, I ain't gonna give no other woman a chance. You know what I mean? Because you may meet the love of your life. You know how it go. So that's the end of crashing out internally. So now that we know about crashing out externally and crashing out internally, I'm not gonna sit here and like front or cap like I got it all together, like I'm a good guy. Like I ain't never was about to crash out, because I was a couple times. So I'm gonna talk about when I almost crashed out externally. So me and my baby mom, kid's mother, we was together. We had our one son, our oldest son at the time. We was living in our little apartment, had our own little family and everything. We had a few differences that I ain't like, you know, and instead of me just being a man and addressing it or just walking away, I decided to do what? Cheat. I started cheating, you know what I'm saying? And then I got into the rap game, had a song on the radio, I had models, I'm feeling myself. I started to cheat, like crazy cheating. And she ended up getting pregnant again, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't believe it was my kid, you know what I'm saying? So I was treating her like, whatever, that ain't mine. And then she was like, no, it is yours. So I said, well, you need to get an abortion, because at this time I got a new girlfriend, new model. I don't want another kid with you. I want to be with this model. So I was just doing her real dirty, didn't want to claim kid and everything. And he ended up being born. I went to the hospital, you know what I'm saying, see him. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he do look like me. But I still was on BS. I'm still out in the club, still doing what I'm doing. So on the spiritual side, I had like a moment to where my mind went to like another dimension. And this is real talk. I got visited by like some beings, you know, and they was like, if you don't be a father and step into that child's life, that's your child, we're gonna bring great punishment on you. So I'm like, oh, damn. So I snapped out of that. I went on, you know, got into my youngest son's life, but I was still cheating. I was still doing me. She ended up moving out and get her own place and all that. And but she still gave me access to her and the kids. I could still call her, come over whenever I want, and I'm still doing my thing. So one day out the blue, she just disappeared, like for like a week or so. I still was able to pick the kids up on a routine schedule. She never kept the kids from me, but she just was like gone. And I'm calling, I'm like, damn, where you at? She ain't answering the phone. So eventually, after 2 weeks, she answered the phone and she like, what you want? I'm like, what you mean what I want? You ain't been answering the phone. I'm trying to pull up. She like, nah, we broke up. I broke up with you 6 months ago. And I'm like, nah, I ain't trying to hear all that. She's like, yeah, well, nah, this over with, and hung the phone up. And that's what type of time she was on. She kept not answering the phone. So at this time, I ain't even tripping off my new situation. I'm calling her, steady calling, blowing her phone up. And I ain't gonna stunt. She was back outside, back on social media. I'm like, so I wanna tell you guys, hey, if she back outside, just focus on yourself, King. That's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? So I'm steady calling her, and I'm like, wait a minute, I want my little family back. That's what but really I wanted that access back. I wanted that control back. Wasn't getting no play. Start circling the block, start doing all that. Hey, she was out of sight, out of Dodge. So what stopped me from crashing out? So what stopped me from crashing out was, I was calling my baby mama, no lie, 20, 30 times. I'm circling her block at night, you know what I'm saying, trying to see where her car at. I work at a hospital. At the time, I was a patient transporter. I knew this patient care tech, real beautiful female. We had became real good friends because, you know, I would pick up her patients, drop her patients off to her. We developed this little bond. We never dated, we just was real cool. So she ended up getting promoted to being a nurse. I got promoted to my department. We had a newfound respect for each other. I come up to her floor, still we'll chop it up. So real good woman, real good female, and I was like proud of the direction she was going in. So one morning, this nurse, this female I'm talking about, 6-something in the morning, she was on her way to work, her and her new boyfriend. They were on their way to work, right? Her baby daddy pulls up, jumped out the car, shot her, killed her on the scene, shot dude. Dude ended up living, but he was in a coma for a while. So moral of the story, once we got intel on what happened, come to find out he had been calling her phone and following her. That made me think like, oh damn, I was kind of on that. I ain't saying I was gonna crash out like Buddy did, but I was on that. So I try to tell guys, if you steady calling her phone 20, 30 times, you circling the block, you dangerous. You don't know what you'll do. You really don't. Or you might be one of them type of guys and might know what you'll do. But at the end of the day, once you get to that point, because the more you call her, the more she rejects you, the more frustrated you become. And this is what caused some guys to crash out. So that's what stopped me from crashing out externally. Now we just talked about how I almost crashed out externally and then what stopped me from crashing out externally. Now we're gonna talk about when I almost crashed out internally. So basically my ex I was with for 10 years, you know what I'm saying? Fell in love, got a place together. And I was really thinking about the whole marriage thing. So something really bad happened in our relationship to where it almost affected my relationship with my kids. It was something that she done. And instead of me just being a man about it and just walking away, I had just signed a new lease. So I was trying to explain that to my kid's mother, like, hey, I'm sorry this happened, but I just signed this lease. I made excuses, end up not breaking up with her, but that really destroyed the little foundation that me and my kid's mother had began to build. You understand what I'm saying? Our relationship got worse. shit started happening. I end up getting on child support. I'm not saying that that was any of their fault. It was my fault, but as a man, I should have handled things better. So since all this happened, I'm angry. My bitterness, I started treating my ex like really bad. You understand what I'm saying? And it got to a point where I was treating her so bad, I started sleeping in other rooms. I built up a hatred towards her because I felt spiteful for what had transpired. So eventually she got tired of my shit and she moved out. She got her own place, but she still wanted to try to work things out, wanted us to stay together. You know, and it worked for a little while, but me being me, you know, she called me with a female in the house, you know what I'm saying? And shit went left a little bit, but whatever. So even after that, she still wanted to try to make it work. We went to counseling and all that. Then one day she reached her breaking point. She broke up with me. And I went through those same phases, not being in denial, not believing her, going through all that. But this time I wasn't crashing out externally. I was in the begging phase where I was trying to make everything work. I went and bought an engagement ring, all the stuff that she wanted while we was together. She wanted to start her family. She wanted to get married, but nah, I was on what I was on. You understand what I'm saying? So once I finally realized that she was done, I had spent so much time, like month after month, trying to get back with her that I forgot about my own life. I let a lot of things get, like, some bills passed due. I called myself, I'm at home now, I'm sick, I'm depressed. I started losing my inspiration. Then I started losing my drive. Then I started losing my appetite. Then I started losing weight. Then I look up, I didn't even realize I lost so much weight. I put my uniform on and shit just fell off me. And people was like, hey bro, you good? You losing a lot of weight. So that's what was happening. I was crashing out internally. What stopped me from crashing out internally? So honestly, I know a couple guys who actually took their own lives over a woman. Some being relatives, some being like friends. I know some guys who crashed out internally. Some of them even killed the woman, you understand what I'm saying? So one day, I'm sick, I'm depressed, I'm driving, I'm leaving Snooks. And again, my mind went to a different dimension, a different realm. And honestly, I'm not making this up. Those guys who took those women lives, or took their own lives over women, it's like I saw them. And it looked like they was standing, waiting on me. So I said, oh, hell no. I'm not even finna go out like that. Like, nah. I said, I know I'm hurting right now. I know I got a broken heart. I'm not finna go out like that. Nope, I'm finna figure some things out. I'm finna get back up and get myself back together. So then my youngest son, he started like clinging to me a lot. And he was checking on me like, Dad, you good? It's like he can sense something was wrong. Cause I was honestly, you know, I was hurting, you know what I'm saying? So I had thinking like, damn, here I am, a father of two sons. You know, even though my oldest son is a little more smarter and understand life more, my youngest son, he don't. At the time, he only 9 years old. He haven't figured life out yet. What if I take myself out, who's gonna give him information? What happens if he runs into a difficult situation? So I'm like, nah, I'm more so focused on them and my youngest son. So isn't it ironic, the same kid that I tried to get aborted ended up being the same kid that gave me a reason to live? That's just how it goes. So yep, that's what stopped me from crashing out internally. So now that we done got all that out the way, you know what I mean? We're gonna talk about the next level of this course is how to actually let go. This part, I need for you to really be tapped in. Make sure you got a pen, make sure you got a pad. We're gonna rock out. Alrighty, so welcome back to the course. You know, we done talked about, you know, the brain not liking change. We done talked about why it's hard to let go. We done talked about how to train your brain to let go. Now we're gonna actually get into it, what you need to do. So make sure you got a pen, make sure you got a pad. This is the first thing you have to do in steps of letting go. You have to process it. Sit down and process what's just happened. Again, your mind probably all over the place, your plane is tilted. You gotta sit down and process what just happened. What just happened? You just got dumped. Hey bro, it happens to the best of us. It don't matter how rich you are, how much clout you got, how many women you got. When that one woman leaves you, it hurts. You have to sit down and process it. You gotta look at it like you ever been in your room walking and you hit your toe on the dresser. Soon as you hit your toe on the dresser, you got one little second before you tell yourself, damn, I just hit my toe, I know it's about to hurt. And you sit down, take cover. That's what you gotta do when you get dumped. You gotta sit down and process it, take cover. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the first step into letting go. Sit down and process what happened, because your brain is going through a shock. You need to process and let it know, hey, this is what's going on. So that's gonna bring us to the next part of this course. Alrighty, so the next part of letting go, I already told you have to process it. Now, this is a really important part. You have to take accountability. Meaning that after you done process what just happened, just sit back and think, damn, what did I do to cause this? Was you a cheater? Was you abusive? Was you irresponsible? Like, because she probably told you what she didn't like, and she probably told you from time after time, hey, I don't like when you do this. This hurt me when you do this. You know what I mean? Take accountability into what you did. This is not about blaming yourself. It's just about owning up to what you did to contribute to the breakup. Once you take accountability, this is going to also help you get to the next level of this course we're going to talk about. So the next part of being able to let go, I already told you have to process it, then you have to take accountability. Now let's bring us to this next part, acceptance. You have to accept the fact that it's over. It is over, bro. Like, it may not be over forever, but it's over for now. You got to treat it like it's over for now, because if you don't, you're going to stay in denial, and then you're going to keep entertaining your brain, which is still attached to wanting to do all these habits with her. You have to accept the fact that it is over. You got dumped. Make sure you do that. This is very important. So once you do that, that's going to bring us to the next part of this course. So now moving on to the next part of the course of letting go. As I stated, you already processed it, took accountability, you accepted the fact that it is over. This is what it is. This brings us to the next part, and this is very important. Cry like a baby. Look, man, I'm gonna tell you something. Again, like I said in the beginning of this video, sometimes society undermines the emotions of men. Say we can't cry. Yes, you can, bro. You hurting. You know what I'm saying? You gotta cry like a baby. Why am I saying cry like a baby? What happens when a baby comes out of a woman's womb? They cut the cord. Baby starts screaming. You've been disconnected just like that baby. This is why you gotta cry. Cry like a baby. The difficult part for me, my second breakup with my ex I was with for 10 years, I wasn't much of a crier. I grew up around street dudes. You had to have this certain kind of mentality. You understand what I'm saying? The only time I actually cried as an adult is when my brother passed away. That's the only time I cried. So when my ex left me a decade later, I couldn't cry. I didn't even know my crying voice, you know what I mean? I tried, but you choke up, you look around and shit, you like, oh, didn't know how to cry, but it's okay to cry, man. Don't cry to her though. So get you like a big soft pillow, or if your mom's still around, or if you got an aunt, cry to somebody, man, get that out. That's the whole part of cleansing. Cry like a baby. And you're gonna do this sporadically, you're gonna have your moments. You understand what I'm saying? But we're gonna give you some information to help you with those moments. So now we're gonna bring us to the next part of the course. So now that brings us to the next part of the course. Now that you didn't process what happened, you took accountability for your actions and what you did contribute to the breakup, you accepted what just happened, you start to cry like a baby. Now this one is really important, detachment. You have to detach yourself from the situation. It's over, she broke up with you. Look at it like you in an empty ass house with all your luggage. You got put out, it's time to pack up and go. You have to detach yourself from the situation. What that means, if y'all got a kid or kids together, maybe get some people involved, some people that you know, people that you trust and love, let them know, hey, I'm going through a breakup, I'm not taking this really well. I want to kind of like detach myself from her so I can get back to myself. Can you help me get the kids? It's, just utilize your resources. Another part of detachment is you want to block her from social media. You don't want to be watching her social media because your brain will start playing tricks on you. You understand what I'm saying? Block her from any kind of contact just so you can get back to yourself. Remember, you are on the verge of crashing out. And in order to avoid that, you have to do these things in order for you to learn how to let go. You have to detach yourself from her. Another part of detaching is spending time away from your phone. I get it, we all need our phone. We always on our phone. Listen, this is important. Spend like an hour or so away from your phone. Make sure your shorty's good, make sure your business good. But when you spend time away from your phone, what this does, it lowers your expectations of her calling. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be expecting her to call. Hopefully you got her blocked so she can't call. I know this sounds crazy, a man blocking. Bro, utilize that block button. I've done it before, you understand what I'm saying? This is an important part of letting go. So now you got to the detachment phase, that's gonna bring us to the next phase. So you done went through the detachment phase, that's gonna bring us to the next phase of this course. You done detached yourself from her, you done accepted it, you done processed it, you done took accountability. Now you need a new start. Again, the brain doesn't like change. All your habits is so used to being to this woman, you gotta create some new habits. You need a new start. What is a new start? You need like some new goals. This is important. Get you a pen and paper and write you some real achievable goals. Like tomorrow I'm gonna cut the grass. Next day I'm gonna clean my car out. This day I'm gonna change my living room. Just write some real achievable goals. Like the reason why this is important is giving you a new start, but it's also a confidence builder, because when you write these achievable goals down and you actually achieve them, that gives your brain that confidence, because when you get dumped, that affects your confidence. It affects you, like that validation. You need all that, and this is how you do it. You get a new start, create some new goals. A next part of a new start, you need like a new environment. You know what I'm saying? Go some places that y'all didn't go together. You understand what I'm saying? Some places that you've never been. Practically, even though I don't know the season where you are, but being around a lot of water, that helps too. You understand what I'm saying? Go to like a winery, go to some places that you've never been. And this will help with what you post on social media. Don't post nothing sad on social media. Another part of a new start, need a new look. So what is this? A new look is just changing your normal way you dress. What I would suggest is the color white. White is really important. You know, get you some white shirts, some white coats, white, whatever. Change your bed, white sheets. Why is white important? All white is just a fresh start. That's all it is. That's what it means. Like in karate, when somebody achieve all the high shit in karate, they make them a black belt. When you just get started in karate, they give you a white belt. That's because you got a fresh start. Another part of a new start is you need new hobbies. This is really important. Get a new hobby, something that you ain't used to. Maybe join a bowling ball team, or join a soccer team, or join a softball team. This is something that you need to do because it's gonna keep you busy. It's gonna keep you active. You understand what I'm saying? And this will help too as far as your new start. It give you that new sense of identity, that new sense of importance. So make sure you get a new hobby. Last but not least with the new start, talk to new people, new strangers. They tell you don't talk to strangers. Strangers are the best people to talk to when you're going through some shit. You know why? They don't know you. There's no room for judgment. You understand what I'm saying? So you be out, you know, in a new place, you having brunch, and hey, somebody gonna ask you, how you doing? You know, man, I'm going through a breakup, man. You would be surprised how many people done been through what you've been through. It's nothing new on the sun. You're like, oh, really, what happened? Man, such and such, she left me. He was like, this happened to me a lot when my ex left me the last breakup. It was so many guys, hey, man, I went through a divorce, man. I was like, damn, how did you get through it? He said, man, I had to do this and I had to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Always talk to new people. You know what I mean? That's not gonna hurt. So that's all a part of the new start. So now you know about the new start. That brings us to the next part of the course. So now that you done got a new start, you know what that is as far as like helping you let go. That brings us to this next important part of the course of letting go. Family time. Family time is very, very important. And these are family members you want to be around that's not going to judge you, that's not going to ask you, so what happened with y'all? You don't need none of that. You know what I'm saying? You want to be around some family members that know you hurting, that's going to love on you. And you can also go visit some relatives you haven't seen in a while. That helps too. Or call some friends that you ain't talked to in a while. Just, hey man, how you doing? You ain't even got to tell them what's going on. Just get that new energy back, because what that's going to do, that's going to tell your brain, hey, I'm still important. I still have other important relationships. So that's important. It's family time, especially with people you haven't seen in a while and friends you haven't seen in a while. That is a very helpful tip as far as letting go. So now that we got that out the way, that brings us to this next part of the course. The next part of letting go, it kind of coincides with a new hobby. It's exercising and chants. This is very, very important when you're dealing with a breakup and you're trying to let go. Because again, the brain don't like change. We are creatures of habits. It is naturally clingy. It wants to hold on to her. It wants to hold on to those memories of her. So you got to do new things to rekindle that energy or re-shift that energy to another place. That's where exercising coming in. Exercising, your heart is aching. So you want to move your legs. You got to do some stuff that's physical. I ain't saying go out and run. If you want to do that, that's cool. But you can just do some simple leg work whenever your heart start aching. And then what I mean by chants, right? You ever seen What's Love Got to Do with It? When she was going through her breakup with Ike, and she was yam yada, whatever that shit she was saying. I don't know what she's saying. I don't want to know. But that was some kind of chant that was giving her brain some exercise. So I'm gonna give you some, and I ain't gonna give you no yam yada shit. Just two little things you can say. First, you want to release this woman. She broke up with you, so now you gotta break up with her. You gotta release her. So you want to release the woman that you just got dumped by. Also, it's two words you want to use. These two words is just like, whenever we got something that motivates us, we always have words for it. It'd be like, turn up, or let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Or ball out. So whenever these emotions come and these memories come, you want to say, emotions change. That is your two-word chant, emotions change. Then you want to say, I'm releasing the woman that left me. So put these together. This really helped me, man. I ain't gonna lie, it helped me. Whenever the memories start coming back, I'm releasing the woman that left me, emotions change. Put it in your alarm, put it everywhere, write it on the board, emotions change. I'm releasing the woman that left me, emotions change. You may be outside walking saying it. People gonna think you going crazy. You are going crazy a little bit. Hey, you hurting, you know what I'm saying? But you're gonna get better though. This is all part of healing. So now that you know about the exercising and the chants, make sure you record that, put that in your alarm, put that everywhere. We're gonna get us to the next part of this course. As we wrap up this course, we want to talk about, okay, a lot of these activities involve being out during the day. You know, breakups, they usually get more difficult at night. You know what I'm saying? It's time to lay down, especially if you used to go and sleep with her. So you need something to help you through that. I would suggest soft music and meditation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to quiet that voice in your head, you know what I mean? You still have them emotions change chants, but reggae music is really good. Like, when I was going through my breakup, I listened to Bob Marley, I listened to a lot of reggae. I don't know what that does to your spirit, but it's like healing type of music, you know what I'm saying? Listen to that when you go to sleep. Wish her well too, you know what I mean? I'm gonna close that out with that. But you wanna listen to some soft music and meditate so you can go to sleep. If you need to cry, go ahead, do that, you know what I'm saying? That's all a part of it too. But meditation and soft music, reggae music, or whatever you know works for you. So that's gonna bring us to the next part of this course. All right, so the next part of letting go, next part that's gonna help you, again, your brain is going through some change, it's going through some shock. You have to show gratitude. Gratitude is very important. What is gratitude, or what does that mean? Start looking around your life and seeing what you really care about. It could be your child, your daughter, your son. It could be in your job. It could be your vehicle. Just say, hey man, I really like this car. I really love my child. I really love going to work every day. Every day start showing gratitude, because what this is gonna do, it's gonna start replacing those hurt feelings. Gratitude replaces a lot of, like, you know what I'm saying, hurt feelings. So show gratitude every day. Even if you think about her, do not hate her. Do not be mad at her, because you don't wanna be bitter. You understand what I'm saying? If she come to your mind, say emotions change, I wish her well. Here's a little mind trick that I use when I got dumped. I always assume that my ex is doing better than me. That's a really good mind trick. I assume that she has found the love of her life and she's doing better than me. In most case scenarios, they usually don't be. But even if they are, that's good, right? It's, you know, it's gratitude. You want her to be happy. In order for you to want her to be happy, that means you want to be happy, and the universe will grant you that. So gratitude is real important, and that brings us to the next part of this course. Alrighty, so now that brings us to this part of the course as we begin to wrap this up. Is once you start to heal, feel a little better. Now again, these are things that you should do right away. It's to help you get started with dealing with a breakup. We don't know how long it's gonna take. Be patient with yourself. Honestly, this last breakup I had, it took me almost a year. It took me over a year to heal. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to be patient with yourself. But once you start to heal a little better and feel a little better, I'm not gonna say get into another relationship, but it's okay to entertain and go on some dates. But you don't wanna get into nothing serious until you fully heal. Because if you're not fully healed, if you don't fully heal your wounds, you'll bleed on others. So what you wanna do is you wanna make sure you're feeling a little better. You got her blocked, you ain't worrying about what she do. You got this whole new identity now. You got new hobbies, you got new things you're doing. It's okay now to get a little attention, you know, go on a date, get a little action. Me personally, I went to the strip club, to be honest with you know what I mean? But don't get into nothing serious until you fully heal. But once you start to heal, it's okay to go on dates. This may take 30 days, may take 6 months. But again, don't get in nothing serious until you fully heal. So that brings us to the next part of this course. So, 2 more parts of this course. It's very important. Once you took all these things and you apply them and you begin to get on this new journey, you know, if she reaches out, She just might. You have to understand. When you was calling her, and she kept rejecting you and all those emotions she had built up, you go silent, you're not around no more. So now all those emotions begin to change on her behalf. She may start thinking about you. She may start missing you. She may try to reach out to you. If she does, my personal advice to you, if you're not fully healed, keep it real brief with her. Don't make the mistake I made with my ex. She reached back out after I went silent for a month or so. We started back sleeping together, and then we went on a whole nother roller coaster. It was like she was using me I ain't gonna say she was using me, but you know how that go. You know what I'm saying? She was still dating other people. You don't want to get involved in that. You know what I mean? So if she reaches out to you, don't fall for that. I miss you. I miss this. I miss that. See exactly what she wants. How specific is she? Hey, I want us to work on each other again. I want us to try this again. If she's not talking like that, I'm telling you, bro, don't get into it, because you're going to have to start this whole process over again. Just learn from the best. You understand what I'm saying? So that brings us to the last part of this course. So I know this is a pretty lengthy information, but hey, hopefully it helped you. It can help somebody you know. Like I said, some people don't know how to let go. So it's not an easy experience. I hope you guys learn from it. Make sure you keep this locked, keep this saved, you know what I mean? And learn from this and pass it on. And I want you to just tune in. I got more content coming. I want to shout out everybody that's involved in the Bright Show. Shout out Brian Lockett Films. This is the wrap to How to Let Go.